Welcome to another episode of Nothing's Ever That Serious. We got a sign. And apparently I've either been demoted or the last few episodes, y'all see that me and Guru were kind of getting into it a little bit because I felt like he was forgetting to do some stuff. So they moved me over here. So I'm in a new spot. But we got a very special guest today.
Very.
Mr. T.K. Kirkland.
Yes, sir.
Can we go ahead and welcome him in?
Yes, sir.
We don't curse on this
I like
show.
that. I like
but
that.
Jay, how do you call his name?
T to the MFK.
T to the MFK. Right.
Legendary.
We
Not just legend, legendary. Because you know what make you legendary?
What?
When you create other legends.
Right.
I like that. I like that. I like that.
He put
I like
people
that.
on. So.
Yo, I'm the plug.
He the plug.
Yeah, thank you for stopping in and chatting with the Nothing's Ever That Serious podcast. We really appreciate it.
Yes, you got it.
We know you're tired.
Yes.
You're running around Virginia Beach. We heard we record on the second floor. I heard your what was it? Your knees were cracking on the
No, knees don't crack. Knees don't crack. I stay in shape though.
Okay. Yeah, you got the
track.
tracksuit.
Yeah. I stay in shape. I don't play that.
You ran this morning and everything?
No. I went walking this morning.
Okay.
You know, I
That's
went
good
walking.
too. That's good too.
Yeah, I run every other day, but I walk every day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I used to be a runner too. I'm going on my third knee surgery. I might just get them to replace it this time. I'm old. I'm older than
How old are you?
I'm the oldest in here.
You getting knees?
But I went for I'm getting double knee replacements. I went for a walk around the neighborhood too. I used to be able to run.
Right.
Mhm.
It was a time when I saw people run, I used to want to hit them with my car because I couldn't run for a minute because I was like maybe 40 pounds overweight.
Okay.
And I try to run far. So
Okay.
when you run far, that you can't carry that weight. Even though I
Right.
was muscular, it still didn't feel right. Me coming from the track world.
Right.
So,
That's probably where my knee problems are coming from because I've
Yeah.
always been like a bigger guy, but I used to like to run 10, 12
yeah, you
miles.
can't do it that weight. What you got, 240?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, wow, you got it right on.
Around 240. Yeah.
You got it right on
All
the
your
money.
weight is in your cheeks.
Yeah, I come from a West Indian family, so they know. They tell you as soon as I go home for Christmas or Thanksgiving,
Yes.
they say, "Oh, your face getting fat. Your face getting fat." Yeah, but thanks for being here. We got some questions for you. We,
Yes.
we're huge fans. We've been following you for I think when I first saw you, I was about 1, and you were already like 40 years in.
Yeah, that's me.
Already.
But you've been here from the beginning.
Yes.
You've been here from the beginning
yes.
of time. So
Yeah, long time.
you've been doing comedy
Yeah.
close to 40 years
Almost
now.
40 years. Wow, that's crazy, right? That's crazy when you think about it like that.
Wow.
Man.
Because they call you the hip-hop comedian. That's what they used to call you, the hip-hop comedian.
The hip-hop comedian came from just touring with all the rappers.
Okay.
When other comedians was blowing up in the game. I didn't go the Def Jam route. I was really making money with the rappers.
Okay.
And I now when I sit here and talk to you about it, I realize it's really a great thing because a lot of stand-up comedians couldn't open up for a rap group, you know, and I was able to just throw down, and they just loved me. So
because it's a different audience if you're going there for a rap show, and then somebody comes out there with some jokes,
right? And I just knew how to entertain. Just wasn't really just jokes. I just knew how to keep the crowd engaged. I just did my thing, and it worked.
Okay.
So everybody hired me from. I started with NWA.
Okay.
Did stuff with Bell Biv DeVoe. A lot of people don't know that. The Lost Boys. Oh man,
you did stuff with Ludacris.
Yeah, did stuff with Ludacris.
50 Cent.
Yeah, 50 Cent. Man, Lloyd. You know, I did the Lloyd CD, Player's Diary.
Right.
You know, so the more I do these interviews, the more things I start thinking about what I've accomplished. And that's some good stuff when I think about it.
When you can forget stuff you accomplished.
Yeah, you know, I sit here like, wow, I did do that. So that's cool. That's cool.
How have you been able to, I guess, just like adapt and like survive? Because like things are like constantly changing.
Yes.
You know, we were kind of talking about this earlier, but like even on this show, like we all kind of have like different perspectives because we're only maybe like 5 years apart, like each of us.
Okay.
Yeah, we 2 years, and then he's a little further down.
I'm a little further down the road than them.
Right.
But yeah, we all have like different perspectives and like things in the world are like constantly changing.
Yes, it's so true. And like I said, me being here so long, I actually seen the world change from the way people dress to the way they talk. The women hairstyles changing to what they are. To in some cities, I seen when bags used to be free. You know, now you got to pay 5 cents for a bag at the grocery store. I seen all that change. So it's
so like your audience and like the, you know, like today people are like more sensitive. That's what they're saying.
Oh, yeah,
like,
they are.
Have you had to like adapt to that, or you not?
I how can I explain it? I know how to present it.
Okay.
If that makes any sense. Being a man, though, and having rules can hurt you.
Okay.
Because a lot of people are not raised right. So if you stand up and be strong, people take it very offensive. And you don't want to adjust because I know it's right. See, a lot of people look at older people like we don't know what we're talking about. Or they'll say, oh, you're set in your ways.
Right.
And I tell people, it's not that we're set in our ways. It's just that we know how it's supposed to be. That's being old means wisdom and experience. So when you have wisdom and experience, you can look at someone and say, yo, I know that you're doing that wrong.
Right.
But also have the ability to be quiet when you don't know something.
Okay.
See, I have that ability. When I don't know anything, I stay quiet and I let people talk who have that knowledge on that particular situation because now I'm learning something. So that's the way I move as an OG.
That's what we were saying earlier when we was talking about it. I said it seemed like TK don't adjust to the world adjusts to TK.
Absolutely.
So, especially when you seeing all these things moving every single year. Even, like I said, me and Guru, we only 2 years apart.
Yes.
It just lets you see how close even one single year can be.
Yes, and things are going even faster now. Like the last 5 years, things are just taking off with artificial intelligence, and I try to put people up on game with that, with Chat CPT.
Okay.
Because only 14% of the people know how to use it.
Oh, you use it?
Yeah, so the
you,
more I
you write you wrote your jokes on there?
No, jokes come from my heart.
Okay.
But the thing about artificial intelligence, like why Hollywood is on strike, because they're afraid of artificial intelligence writing the scripts for them.
Okay.
But what artificial intelligence can't do, it can give you a blueprint of a script, but you actually need experiences to put in between there.
Right.
But it's really going to hurt the industry unless they truly find a way to
regulate it.
Yep, I totally agree.
Yeah, I think you're always going to need the human element because we're all like have film background. He's a director, won lots of awards. Two of us used to do some acting and stuff.
Okay.
And that's kind of how we met. We met on a set, but like we just took the words as suggestions on the page, but we would just riff.
Made it ours.
Right. Yeah. And it's really better that way when you do it that way.
Have you done a lot of on-screen stuff? Or
I did a lot of independent films because I never really, like some comedians go for auditions.
Right.
I always hated that process of an audition because you're sitting there and even though you could be the best one, the decision is based on the casting director and director their experiences in their life. Meaning if they have something in their head already, then you might be good, but their decision is based on either other movies that they saw or a commercial that they saw or their own experiences. They're not really giving you the opportunity to win. So I stayed away from it because my choice was go get the money or waste my time in audition. But even though some people got lucky, like, Jamie Foxx, Chris Tucker, they all got lucky. And I started out with Ice Cube. So I could have hung with them, but everybody I hung with from NWA to R. Kelly.
You could have been Debo in Friday.
Yeah, it's possible. You never know. Believe it or not, I hung with these people. But I never was their friend. Like my job was just to do what I had to do and keep it moving. I didn't want to be a bag handler. I didn't want to be a ass kisser, so to speak. I wanted to be my own guy. Now, it may have taken a little longer because I don't have an agent or a manager. I've done everything on my own. And I've had people who got success, like when Mike Epps and Sandra Bullock, Anthony Michael Hall, John Leguizamo.
All people he put on, by the way.
Yeah.
You put Sandra on?
Yeah, Sandra Bullock.
That used to be your girlfriend? I was just watching her.
My girlfriend.
That's the one on Speed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just watching that the other day. I was like,
so I had two other gentlemen who worked with me, Tommy Chesterow and David Klingman. They're deceased now, but the company was called Artistry Management. And we brought these guys over. So the people that really came up under my wing, DL was like my personal thing. Mike Epps, Godfrey, Anthony Michael Hall was David Klingman, Tommy Chesterow's stepson. So, he played in The Breakfast Club, the original Breakfast Club, the movie back in the day. So I've always stayed quiet because I was in the streets, and we had this meeting with Tommy Chesterow and David Klingman since I was like not a hood legend, but I was in the streets. They felt it was best for me to stay quiet because, there's 2 white guys, right? So they didn't want me to mess up the money, but they didn't cut me off. They didn't like, oh, you in too much trouble, we're going to cut you off. No, they kept me on. Nothing got done without them running it past me.
Right.
And I love that they did that. And then as I became a man and grew, I just did things and did it my way. Right. And I've given my blueprint to certain people in my life. And as I go through from women to men, I give everybody the game. And apparently it works because I get DMs in the thousands from people all over the world. Some want me to mentor them. Some I get, some women want to date me because of my mindset, because they think I'm young, but they don't know I'm 63 years old. So I just
you look younger than me.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I do.
For sure.
That's true.
And I just love what I'm doing. So obviously I'm doing the right thing. So that's cool. Obviously I'm doing the right thing.
Couple things from there that I want to ask you about. First, I wanted to get, because you can agree with what he said about going into auditions and stuff, like already knowing what you want, because you did say on the episode you cast your female lead based on your heart.
Right. But he's a young kid, so he's attracted to a woman. He might think he could get some. He might be able to pull up. Like, I'm going to put you on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
This your big break.
Is that your strategy?
And there's nothing wrong with using whatever you got to get with you.
Right.
I don't think there's anything wrong. Like, if you are the director.
If you don't think I'm going to the club tonight and telling them we had TK on.
I'm getting on the phone as soon as you leave.
Right. So we just want everybody to come to the show this weekend. It's almost sold out. I'm truly excited about that. And I love doing these type of shows because I never want to be too big that I can't do anything. My thing is I go to bed like 10 o'clock. I get up really like about 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I do stuff in the stock market.
Okay.
And then I work out. Then the day I do all the interviews, and I try to lay down like about 3 or 4.
I was about to say, after all that, it's about time. It's about time for a nap.
It's time for a nap. It's and
before your programs come on.
And when you say nap, it makes it sound like it's old, right? But I always tell people, it's not that you're old. I've done more before 9 o'clock than most. All 3 of y'all done all day.
Okay.
Y'all still was sleeping about 9:30. My day was almost over.
That's right.
I was sipping on hot water and lemon about 9:30.
That's true.
Right. Now, the other thing I wanted to ask you is just about that independent route, because we, like I said, us being in the industry, we chat about that all the time. Yeah. Whereas, like, I used to have a mindset where I felt like there was a gateway, and we've kind of joked about it on this show, where I kind of used to go about things in the, I don't know if it was the right way or not. Right. But I used to, what was the word you used?
Ambush.
Yeah, I used to ambush people. Yeah. Like I went and met Tiffany Haddish, and she was cool. Yes. Like I was like, it's nice to meet you. I'm a big fan, but I also create, and I have this project. You might be interested in it. Or I went and met with a producer, and I was just like, nice to meet you, big fan. But so I'm like trying to put myself on, and I was like, maybe that's not the best way. Like let's put in the work ourselves and like do the independent thing.
I believe do it yourself.
Okay.
Right.
Most celebrities, when they get into here's the facts about African Americans in Hollywood. No one can greenlight anything. Okay. Let's make sure we're clear.
Okay.
That's up to TP.
We talk a good game. Or most of them talk a good game. Most of them say, oh yeah, I'll put you on. But nobody really has that power.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? One of my greatest stories, me and Terry Crews used to be great friends. And Terry Crews used to be work in the factory. Terry Crews, nice guy. Used to, when he was struggling, I helped pay his mortgage. Used to feed him and his wife. But Terry Crews is
that's the guy with the
big dude. Terry Crews is one of the most talented men I've ever met in my life. From gifted writer to being very spiritual, love him to death. And he wrote a script called Young Boys Incorporated about the crew in Detroit, Michigan, and the script was A1, like it was phenomenal. So with me and my connections, and I know everybody, I raised $6 million.
Wow.
To do this particular movie.
Right.
And I'll show you how Hollywood went. So I got his agent at the time. We went into the agent. I had all my football players with me who put up the money. Okay. And we went in, we sat down in a meeting, and the agent, I was supposed to be the star of the film. Okay. And producer. executive producer because I raised the money.
Put the money up.
That meeting was 2 hours. By the time that meeting was done, I went from a lead to not even being in the movie.
Wow.
To just getting a credit, a co-credit.
Oh my God.
For the film. They had already took that $6 million and split it. They was gonna let Reginald Hutland direct it. It was other people involved, but Terry Crews at that time didn't understand the business because a strong director was like, no, I wrote this movie for T.K. Kirkland.
Right.
We're going to do this particular movie and nothing is said.
Right.
So when we left the meeting, my crew was like, yo, Terry didn't stand up for you. What's up? So I talked to Terry the very next day and I explained to him my guys is not going to do the movie. And it started bringing friction in our relationship. That was like Terry was going to move.
He just wanted to make the movie.
Yeah, he just wanted to do it. But I have a street code. And my street code is if we all go in together and I got the bag, this has to be the plan, or I find something to compensate your pain. I got to make sure that if you can't be the star, I got to make sure that you're in the film, and I got to make sure you still get the proper credit. But I move like I move like a boss, and I've always been that way. And I was always taught that a lot of people are not from the same cloth, so you can't expect the same thing. So I went independent for years. So I started my own network called TK.network because back in the day, everybody go get my special called TK.network. I'm T to the MFK, who raised you, and any questions on there, all independent. And during the 90s, I went through that pain that you're talking about, knocking on doors, talking to people, actually getting through. And when people believe in you or pretend to believe in it, they're taking them and set up meetings, but then now the BS comes. But it was one guy, I want everybody to listen to this story. It's a cold story right here. And I got so many, like I said, they come to me as I do the interview. They look up Orion Pictures. Orion Pictures was a big movie company back in the day. And it was the guy who was the president. And his name was Mike Medavoy. Google Mike Medavoy. Mike Medavoy, I was in college, and I bluffed my way into his office. I said, yo, I work for Eddie Murphy. I'm doing the independent. I'm going on my own. And he set up a meeting. I think I had the same exact suit Eddie Murphy had on in 48 hours, and I had one of them suits. Went to the meeting, and my conversation was because people say it's the gift of gab. But I say is that you got to know how to talk from your heart. So I was able to talk to Mike Medavoy. He wound up giving me a script to read. Mike Medavoy also wrote me a check for $180,000, less than a month, for a movie that never got made.
What?
That's how good. And this is and Google Mike Medavoy, Ryan Pictures.
Whoa.
Now I'm in college. 3 years later, I come to Mike Medavoy again with another idea. I go in Mike Medavoy's office. Before I leave that office, he has his CEO, financial guy who writes the checks, write me another check for another script for $75,000.
Man.
For something that never got. Now we wrote it. It never got made. And I just want, Mike Medavoy, if you're still alive, thank you so much for believing in me because these are dreams that you can't make this stuff up. And that's why I always say the names of people because my story seems so wild. Like you go, yo, he gotta be lying. But I got the receipts. And like I said, I'm amazed when I start talking because sometimes when I'm sitting in my room, I'm like, wow, I really did that. So independence, if you can, is the way to go. Ask Ice Cube now that he can't do Fridays. Ask Dave Chappelle when they was ripping him off when the Dave Chappelle show because he didn't own it. And even though I'm not on Netflix the way I want to, because that was getting ready to happen, because Jamie Foxx was going to direct my special before he got sick. We had a talk when he was in London, along with Marcus King, used to be his manager, and we was putting something together really sweet. They wanted me to do my life story in this comedy special, and then do the stand-up. So they wanted to go from the streets to my college to way back in, all my crazy things to do the stand-up. But what I love about this is because in the 90s, I knew I was going to be successful, but I knew it was younger people that was going to break me in.
Right.
Didn't know about social media, didn't know nothing about podcasts. But podcasting is what changed my life. And it all started with Vlad, my man Vlad TV.
You used to be on the Breakfast Club too a lot.
Yeah, I used to Breakfast Club a lot. Matter of fact, I'm going to be on the Breakfast Club in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
So I'll be on there. Shout out to Charlamagne, DJ Envy, and Angela Yee has her own show. So I'm on her show a lot as well.
I saw you been on her show too, her new show.
Yeah, she kept me on there for like almost a whole week. So it was cool. So I love her. She's just amazing. So independence is the way to go. But as you get older, you have to have wisdom to have a job as well. When I hear certain celebrities say, "If you know what you really want to do, you got to know it and you go after it." I mean, that's a false vision. Because when you're a man or you're a woman, the goal is once you get past a certain, you are considered grown. You got to pay your light bill. You got to pay your car note. It's too many obstacles, especially when you're black, to get into Hollywood. Imagine for a minute if Hollywood really allowed black people in the way we really should be let in. All of us would be so successful. But you'll watch TV and you'll see somebody with a hit TV show and you don't even know who the hell they are. You're like, who is this person? Like, how did they get a show?
Right.
And the thing that they don't understand, Spanish, blacks, we are judged by the Nielsen rating. So if you're not popular in the Midwest, you can get canceled. So if you don't have it, and you can have the greatest show.
The number one show.
But if you're not hitting in certain places, they will cancel
They'll use that and say, you underperformed.
Right, And that's why you got to put certain people on you. Like Cedric Entertainer got a great scenario because he's on CBS. He has a couple of white people with him, and that helps his show. And Ced is a nice guy, so he comes off not threatening to America. And when the Hollywood was a white man, I would say the white man, and nothing against him, but a guy told me that was the producer of King of Thrones. And this is a few years ago. They was trying to get me on HBO. I was
King of Thrones?
Yeah, King of Thrones.
Okay.
Is he the king? Yeah. He's executive producer of that show.
Never heard of that one.
Yeah.
What is it? Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Okay.
Forgive me when I be messing up.
They got spinoffs.
No. I be messing up. I
was like, that one's on BET Plus.
Yeah, just like for a while, I was calling Benny Siegel.
Oh.
And I didn't know. But for years, I've always called him Benny. But people was correcting me, like, who's this guy called
I heard you doing that on Drink Champs.
Yeah, and I was like Benny, but it's Beanie.
But y'all were drinking.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
You kept taking shots and you were saying Benny
So he had used Kevin Hart and he had used Cat Williams as a scenario. And he said, TK, if you had a perm, or if you was not, what's the word? I want to say this correctly.
Non-threatening?
If you was non-threatening to society, I could get you an HBO special
Wow.
tomorrow.
That's what they used to call me in college. They said I was a non-threatening black guy.
Yeah. And
I used to be like, hi.
And the things that I talk
Drew.
about, and then if you know my past, I come off real strong. But I stand the way I stand. It hurts sometimes because I normally do the Helium Comedy Club every year. They said to me the other day, TK, we don't want to book you this year because they said that my fans that come see me, they said they book other black comedians. But when my fans come, it's ruly and they kind of disrespectful.
Okay. Wow.
You're bringing the hood
how
out.
can you hold me responsible for other people? And I felt bad. And so I'm going to talk about the Helium Comedy Club. Mark Grossman, y'all email Mark Grossman and say, yo, we want to come see TK and we know how to behave. You know what I'm saying? That hurt because I should not be held responsible for my fans. But independence, if you got the money, because now, guys, you have your own phones. You don't really need Hollywood. You could really make thousands of dollars on your own without Hollywood. And I always believe in cut out the middleman. And to everybody's listening, to even you guys, if we was in college and I was your professor, I say, all right, go do a research paper for me on black actors and black actresses in Hollywood and come back and tell me, give me a report. It will be one of the most unsatisfactory reports you have ever seen in your life.
Lopsided, you mean?
Yeah, because blacks don't get the money that they're supposed to get. They don't get the credit they're supposed to get. And we don't have no African-American male or female to greenlight a movie. Right. Now, Tyler Perry's doing this thing, but Tyler Perry does this thing in a way, and to me, I don't think he pays people what they really should get. I think he feels that I'm putting you on, this is where you got to go. Because these are the kind of stories that I've heard. And it's not to hate on Tyler Perry. It's just that anything that I talk about comes out of my mouth. I've already heard about it. Only problems I have is when I talk to a child, someone in their 20s, 30s, who think they know the answers. And I have to argue with this person. And I get upset because like I had to tell somebody the other day on my Instagram, you're not old enough to even cast an opinion on this topic. Like you haven't been on this earth long enough to cast an opinion. And we have lost the sign of respect and loyalty and to be quiet when our elders is talking. And don't get me wrong, just because you're elder don't mean that you're smart and you know everything. Right. But there's some people you could just by what comes out of their mouth, you have to show respect and say, you know what, let me be quiet for a minute because I think this man or woman really knows.
Yeah, how do you navigate that? Because we were talking about that earlier. Yeah. And we were talking about how, like you said, this newer generation, like you can't tell them nothing.
Yeah, some things you just got to be quiet. Okay. And if they're lost, you got to let them stay lost unless you can get them individually.
You're the voice of the youth on this show. What do you think? I be trying to tell him stuff. He'd be like, quiet old man.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting, guys. It's interesting.
What do you think?
No, I think it's really cool. I think the cool thing about ownership too is the fact that you're on this show talking about this stuff. Yep. And I guess like these are conversations that I think we need to hear, but people can't say it because they don't own themselves. They can't be canceled. They can't be dropped. So that gives you the freedom just to be able to come and share these gems and I guess uplift future generations and set that up. So I think that's something like even in our pursuit that I want to thrive for. And we even talk about it with this show of like this manner of, we could get picked up doing something tomorrow, but it's like, what do we lose in that? The voice we lose and the ability to be able to say
sometimes
those things.
You got to be smart. Sometimes what are you prepared to give up?
Right.
You know, life is a game and business is a life of chess. To make a move to get something else, you have to do something. And sometimes pain brings on other opportunities. So even though you might get played, because mostly everybody gets played on their first deal. The Beatles got played on their first deal. The Jackson 5 got played on their first deal. Ex-Prince, he got robbed. So that's why he left Warner Brothers and just came up with the symbol because he wanted to renegotiate his deal and they didn't want to. So that's why he started going independent and dropping albums on his own and made millions that way. But Warner Brothers didn't want to negotiate his deal. Let's ask Michael Jordan about his deal. A lot of people think because Michael Jordan gets $400 million a year, he's making all this money. But that's how he came up with the Jordan brand because he don't own Air Jordan. He only gets 5% of the sneaker, which I think is the worst deal in sports. If you're the star, if you ain't getting more than half, then that's a horrible deal to me. And I'm the kind of guy that if there's $1 on the table, I'm representing a client, we getting 99 cents. I don't care what you do with that penny. That's always been my rule. So even when I book myself, I'm getting the majority of the door. Like, you know, sometimes they give me a hard time, like, TK, we don't do that. But either I get an extra day added on to a club to make sure I get what I want. But we talk about no movies, hardly, no TV shows. So I get the same dollar amount as some big stand-up comedian. And don't get me wrong, I'm up there with a lot of people. You just haven't seen me do the kind of TV shows or movies. I've done this brick by brick, as Franklin Saint was saying. I built this brick by brick. You feel what I'm saying? So I love what the way my life has turned out.
And on the topic of independence, it's like organic versus forced. Because I know you speak about even when you move in life, you like things to be as organic as possible.
Yes.
And I'm the same way. Like even if something seems slightly forced, I'm kind of turned off by it. But being early in the industry like this, you kind of got to go for every opportunity that you can get. So
you mean when you're young or am I?
For us, like we building up.
Yes,
so
you're building.
How should we go about still being effective, but not doing too much and like losing?
See, when you have a podcast, now most people don't understand podcasting. Some people get a podcast just to have a podcast. But podcasting is to what kind of advertisers can you get to advertise your show? So let's say Hollywood, let's say industry, right? They'll have Colgate and all these different things. But in actuality, you get to a certain amount of people, you really can go in your neighborhood and go to mom and pop stores and say, hey, I would like to promote you on my show.
Right.
And I charge this amount of money to promote, to send traffic to your store.
Right.
Now, it may not be millions,
Right.
but I swear to you can get about $20,000 a month if you do it right. Because it's no one said it has to be one person. You can have 30 people that you can promote every week on your show.
This
And
episode's
you got
brought
to
to you
have
by
the mouthpiece,
Colgate.
and you got to go out. You got to have the mouthpiece and go out there and hustle.
Yeah,
Because
yes.
people just do this podcasting just to record, and I think that's the funniest thing. And like I said, when Charlamagne gave me my podcast, and
He does the Black Effect.
yeah, and Charlamagne gave me my podcast. I didn't even understand podcasting 8 years ago. They were like, TK, you should do this podcast, because when I went on his show 8 years ago, I didn't understand views. And when I did the Breakfast Club, my views were so high.
Yeah.
And people loved the way I spoke.
Okay.
So they was like, yo, we got to do this podcast. So I made Charlamagne wait 2 years before I said yes. Because for 2 years, every time I did this show, they would say something. But I was saying, they want me to do this iPod. I wasn't even pronouncing it right. I was like, want me to do this iPod. What's this iPod thing, you know? And I'm glad that I was able to get it and change it. And everybody, make sure you listen to the TK Kirkland podcast. It's really off the chain.
I listen to that joint every week, man.
Yeah,
every week.
It's a life change. It's not video like most people, but if you got time to on the plane or in your car and you want to listen, like listen for somebody reading you a book.
Yeah.
Everything on my show has something that can change your life.
You helping real people solve like real problems and
Absolutely.
talking them through like the average person.
Yes.
And people reach out to you and you reach back.
Yeah, I reach back to him and I give him the game. And like Kevin Samuels, me and Kevin was supposed to do an episode of Vlad.
Oh, man.
Because both of us were going to be there together giving our game. And what I wanted to do, and I shared this with the world, even with Kevin Samuels, I like Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels is brutal, but what and brutally honest.
Okay.
But if you tear a woman down, you got to give a game on how to win. And that's where I was going to come in. Everything Kevin Samuels said was excellent.
So he was going to tear them down. You was going to build them back
we was
up.
going to talk about it.
Okay.
And I was going to, for every situation, I think you can give a woman a way to win at life.
Okay.
And that's where I come in at. That's where
Nice.
I give you the solution, so to speak. Like if you fat and overweight and you're not you're not a high value woman, as Kevin Samuels will say, I'm gonna teach you to be valuable. I don't know if you're gonna be a high value woman,
Right.
but your way of thinking, the way you move through life will be a lot different.
Those podcasts are considered controversial. Like I would say Kevin Samuels was considered
and you
controversial.
Tate, all those guys, and like I said, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Okay.
And
The approach was probably a little bit too strong.
And kids today are very soft and sensitive. Even older men and women are that way as well. And everybody, like older me is like, I'm 60-something. So if you're 40-something, you're considered a man. Even 40-something-year-old men their feelings can get hurt.
Like you can't even say fat anymore. If we could have you do a ADR, just say full bodied or
right.
healthy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We'll edit it in.
Yeah, you can't say that. That's insane. But hey, it is what it is, guys. You have to adapt to the way the world is. I hate that where it's going, and maybe we are dinosaurs, and maybe this is why we have to leave Earth, because after your time expires, you start seeing the world change. And it's just some things you can't do. So the next 40 years, there's a lot of things that's just going to be normal.
Yep.
I think every generation's like that, though. Like
Every 100 years.
You look back like Elvis, because y'all were homeboys.
Yeah,
but
you go,
even when Elvis came out, he was controversial.
Yeah, but even you go way back before that, if our great grandparents was alive, some of the nicest things you do were considered taboo to them. Like, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing that. Just like you see women half naked and wearing bathing suits. I bet most of these women did not know in the 60s that 50s, you could not wear a bathing suit it had to be an inch over your knee.
Wow.
And when you was on the beach, they had a police officer that will walk around with a ruler.
What?
And if they would measure the length of the bathing suit to your knee, that if it wasn't where it's supposed to be, you can get fined.
It was kind of like that too, because I went to school in the 90s, but I went to a conservative school. So I told them that the girls used to have to wear skirts. And this one girl, what was her name? Janice. Janet, over the summer, she got taller, but her parents couldn't afford to buy her the longer skirt.
So her skirt got
us
shorter.
being Christian men, we're like, Janice had us aroused.
Exactly.
Just a little calf.
Yeah,
you saw
she was showing us
bit of calf.
some of her calves. Yeah.
I'm really just sitting over here and just taking a lot in. Like I said, a lot of people don't share the insight you give, so it's just like...
The reason why I'm a truly happy guy, because I know a lot of people don't know their purpose on earth, and I know my purpose. And when you know your purpose, you have an advantage over everybody. So I have an advantage on mostly everybody on this planet because I know my purpose. And my purpose is to help people, and that's what I do.
Can we put it to work? Let's put it to work. I was debating whether or not to bring this up, but I told this guy, we talked about it recently on this show, but I was in a relationship. And on our second date, we were coming down. We had a nice time, had a few drinks, and then we were coming out the restaurant, and this nice car, like convertible, pulled up.
Muscle car.
Vroom, vroom, vroom. The young lady, she had expressed interest in me, but then she looked over at this nice, shiny car, handsome young gentleman in there. She walked over. They were talking. I thought she knew him or something.
Right.
And she hopped in the car, and then they drove off.
Blew dust in his face.
This really happened?
Yeah, true story.
Real life.
Blew dust on me.
They came back, did a donut.
So I was at, they were doing, making donuts around me.
Right.
And so I told these guys, I brought it to them. I was like, that's never happened to me. That's crazy. But it intrigued, later on, fast forward the story, I asked her why she did that. And she felt like I was kind of dragging my feet, like, you not seeing what you're getting, like you should have been on this. Whereas we just met, I was trying to get to know you a little bit. I was like, I don't want to be serious.
I can't curse on here?
Nah.
Oh, you gotta let me curse, yo.
And you can't talk bad about her because we ended up that intrigued me. Whereas I went to them for advice, and would you say leave her?
Exactly.
But I was like, nah.
You should have left her, yo.
Why?
Yeah, because
we ended up having a nice relationship for a while.
Yeah, integrity. To me, it's about respect.
There you go.
Okay.
See, that's the thing. See, you just wanted to hit it, so you was willing to let anything happen, And most men don't keep a beautiful woman in their life. So the first beautiful women some of you guys get, you feel like you have to. I gotta hold on to this.
Y'all chased them down the street.
Yeah, but I've always had a bad woman breathing on me since I was 14 years old. So it's not. It's about the beauty because I like attractive women. But it's character and substance. Like when you're young, you don't think about those things. And as you get older, you look for character, you look if a person can carry themselves. The thing in life is most women want to be taken care of. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think you should take care of them. But my rule in life now is 60-something years old, and I'll tell anybody this and the people that's listening, the goal in life is to find a woman that doesn't need to be taken care of. Then take care of her. You understand? Because as you get older, if you got a beautiful home, nice cars, you got money, and you get ill, okay, this person's going to take care of you. But is she going in your bank account to use your money to take care of you? And you want someone that love you so much, they got theirs too, and they'll look out, and vice versa. You with someone, you got some paper to look out for her. So again, life is an independence, and anything you do is a game of chess. It's all about moves. But at the end of the day, your situation with the girl leaving you,
man,
no way. I had a white girl pull a woman that was with me once.
I
was at the BET Awards. Me, Tyrese, Genuine, Tank. All these guys are my friends. And we had a party. And I had this bad girl with me, but I saw this woman. She was very attractive, but I was, I'm a player, so I was going to sneak over and pull her.
Right.
But the girl that I was with saw her too. Now I didn't know she liked women, so she was walking. She saw me talk to her, And she said, "Oh, that's what you like?" I said, "I didn't say nothing." She said, well, "I like it too."
Oh, okay.
Then the woman, she was white fine,
Okay.
and she said, "And I had my eye on you." And I'm looking around like,
She called-
"What is going on here?"
She called dibs.
Yeah, I was like, "What's going
dibs.
on?" You know, they wound up leaving together.
Whoa.
Left me at the function.
What?
I'll never forget that, Doug. I don't know. I forgot your name. I hope both of y'all got together, and as you was driving down Sunset, you lost control of your car and flew off a mountain and crashed, and they couldn't find nothing but a weave and toes. That's what I hope.
I like you say you're a player. You're sitting next to the new school player. Do you have any questions out there? You out there running game?
That was hilarious. You know,
you got somewhere to. Both of y'all got somewhere to be after this. That's why y'all trying to. Me and Guru just.
I'm going to sleep after this.
For real though, on the topic of relationships and stuff, because even when I said I was 30, you was like, "Oh, it's like I got forever for that, like a relationship."
Yeah, you're 30 years old. You really. Here's the thing that I could say to most men. I say this to my kids too. Mm-hmm. Dating a lot of women for me when I was young was cool, but when I look at it now, it was really a lot of waste of time.
Okay.
See, there's a lot of things in life you can invest in. You invest in gyms, oil, stock market, right? But the thing that most people don't take seriously is their time.
Okay.
Your time is the most valuable thing you have on this planet.
Okay.
And what you will find in your lifetime is that there are a lot of what I call time wasters. People will waste your time. And time is something that you can't get back. So when I text you to someone, I'm saying to you, you are so important in my day that I took some time out of my precious day to let you know I was thinking about you.
To reach
When
out.
someone doesn't reciprocate that, they think, oh, so I get back to them, whatever. I find it rude and disrespectful. And it kind of slightly irritates me. Even though I know some people do have a life. Like if you hit me and I don't hit right back, it's a double standard because I'm super busy. I'm getting on the plane. I'm everywhere.
So you ghost people, but you don't like getting ghosted.
No, yeah, but I don't ghost you. I'm gonna get back to you. Like I hit some people the day before I came over here who hit me in my DM 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And I felt bad because I get so many messages. And if I skip you, if I miss you, I might have getting ready to text you a phone call.
Yep.
Or something else came in, and then when I go back, one time, 4 years, I made a guy wait. 4 years, yo. When he was on his way to freshman in college, I reached out to him. He had graduated.
I'll do your podcast.
Yeah,
He's like, I don't got that no more.
He graduated. When I reached out to him, he had graduated from college already. So those things happen, but the reason why I get upset because I see the world differently. I'm really knowing that time is valuable.
That's right.
Most of y'all don't look at time as valuable. So that's the stuff that I try.
No, we've had those conversations on here where we've talked about just us with this hustle and this entertainment, like we're all at it like full steam.
Yep.
And sometimes we do have a hard time when we get in relationships where she's like, come on, you always editing or you always podcasting. Let's go out. Let's have a good time. And we're like, we want to do that, but like, you know, we don't have that. We don't
still
have
enjoy
this time.
yourself, though. You guys are young. You got to know how to balance it out, especially someone that you like.
Okay.
Balance it out and go live your life because this is not guaranteed.
That's right. That's right.
What's your plan? Are you trying to make $1 million? Are you trying to get super rich from probably? Now, you're not going to become super rich from this. I just hate to tell you. This ain't happening. Yeah, if you're looking at podcasts to make you rich, you are really blowing smoke. And it sounds good. Like when you're talking, I have the net podcast. And we're interviewing people around the world.
This is reverse psychology. You trying to
I'm doing
you
things.
trying to push us to be like TK said we can't make $1 million. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know,
But you're not gonna be here when we.
No. I hope to be here. I hope I get 40 more summers out of this game.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But
Yes, sir.
it sounds good talking to a woman. Yeah, I have
Give
the
us
net,
two. Give us one.
I have the Net podcast. We've interviewed various celebrities. And we're really doing big. And I mean, we're doing it. And the girl's like, And yet, but then, 2 years later, you're still in this room. You know what I'm saying? So,
I'm listening to what you're saying though, because all jokes aside, I did have to make that decision recently, where it's like, am I putting too much into this? A girl asked me to like move. because you come to Virginia Beach a lot.
Yes.
We're all from here. We rep VA. We love it. But it's like for a young person, she was a city girl.
Right.
So she wanted to be a city girl, and she was like, "Can we move somewhere else?" I'm like, "I got my podcast.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't just up and leave." So it's like that kind of weighed in on our relationship a little bit. You think I should have gave up the pod and went with the city girl?
Why couldn't you done it both?
What, fly into the Nets?
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So success. I'm gonna tell you another thing about success. Success.
If you're still interested, I could.
Let's renegotiate.
Let's renegotiate.
Another thing about success is what are you prepared to sacrifice?
Okay.
Because you got to sacrifice something. Because you can't do it all. This is a fact. Will you sacrifice love? Will you sacrifice being a parent? Will you sacrifice something that means a lot to you? But you're going to sacrifice something.
We recorded an episode. I'm still debating whether or not I want to release it because I told you grew up, like my mom and grandma are super Christian, but like I really want to make it in this podcast industry. And she was like, pray to God, he'll help you accomplish whatever you want. And I was like, I don't know, I've been doing that. So I prayed to the other guy.
Where's hot?
Where's hot?
Okay.
But a lot of people think, like I was watching my man from Snowfall, and people took his conversation wrong. He said he had to convert to the devil to play Franklin Saint.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard
and that went right over everybody's head. When people say you had to go help for the devil, it means you went to a dark place in your life, your thoughts. You had to become evil when he's truly a nice guy.
That's what I told him. It wasn't that bad. I said that on the episode. I was like, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, Franklin, but again,
he
kids,
get a bad rap for no reason.
Yeah, but kids today don't understand metaphors. Kids today, or young people don't understand what he meant by that. So it went. He's a nice guy. Tommy from Power is a nice guy.
Real nice.
Not a street dude at all. And Ghost is a nice guy. I know for a fact none of them guys pull the trigger. I know for a fact none of them guys put nobody in the trunk. You know what I'm saying? But they play that part, and that's what's called acting, right? Even NWA, Ice Cube and Dr. Dre was nice guys, but you thought they were gangbangers and doing their thing, but they wasn't.
So they were rapping up the street life.
They was rapping
and then
up
they
the
were
street
like,
life.
y'all want to go grab some ice cream?
Right, exactly.
With sprinkles?
Yeah, they wasn't, they wasn't like that. I would say coming up in the hip hop era, it was Too Short that was really from the hood and Eazy-E.
Okay.
Yeah, and nothing to take away from them, you know, but I remember Ice Cube and them when they was riding Suzuki Jeeps and when Dr. Dre had a 190 Benz, a red one. And I just watched everybody from afar. And so, again, everything in life is about what are you prepared to sacrifice? That's key.
Jay?
That's the gym.
Final question for...
Do it got to be a question?
It could be
You ain't gonna hug
praise.
me.
I just...
It better be a question.
Y'all two are probably more similar in terms of like that old school. I'm trying to get Jay to like me and him. We hug all the time. Sometimes he'll give me a little peck on the cheek, but it's no pause.
Okay, all right, y'all do that amongst yourselves.
Yeah, they can keep that.
We're both heterosexual, but it's just
when
like,
y'all do it, let me sure I'm outside.
but Jay's like, nah, stay back.
Fist bump.
You gonna come around when we get to episode 100. Let me. Nah, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna tell them we appreciate you for coming through because you ain't have to do that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, we got limited resources and you still came through.
Yeah, y'all limited. Yes, you are. You know, but I wanted to show you love. Andrew seemed like a nice guy, and we was talking, and I just like how you had things set up. When I came in, everything was nice and professionally done. And like I said, I'm here in Virginia, and we want to make sure that people get out to wherever
Funny Bone.
I come to
you
your
got
city.
The Live Nation tour.
Yeah, whenever I come to your city, but the night's Virginia Beach. Like I said, it's going to be a sold out show. I love selling out. It's just a great feeling when you pull up and on the marquee. Because I make when it's sold out, I make sure that they put on the marquee sold out. It's old school.
Right.
I want to see that on the marquee. You got to see that.
Right.
Like I live in Vegas and I was driving down the strip the other night and I saw Bruno Mars, his name up on the strip, and it had sold out all 4 nights, and that's powerful,
right,
in Vegas because there's so many shows there, and his stuff was sold out, and I know he gives a great show. So that's pretty much what it is, and have everybody follow me and tell somebody that to follow me at Instagram TK_Kirkland.
Guru.
No, I just want to, I guess, duplicate those sentiments. Like, we appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate the gems. And you are.
It's been a pleasure at the Nets podcast. And it means what again?
Nothing's ever that serious.
Nothing is ever that serious. I really love that. I really do. To all my fans, make sure you, right now, before we get off this thing, go to livenation.com and get ready for one of the best stand-up comedy shows you probably have ever seen. Whoever your favorite comedian is, you need to come see me.
Favorite comedian.
You need to come see me and then judge. With that, I'm happy, fellas.
Booked and busy.
Yeah, booked and busy. Triple OG AARP. You know what I'm saying? So can't beat that. To everybody listening, I want to thank you guys. May your pain be champagne. Make sure you follow these guys.
Follow us.
All right? Make sure you follow them. These guys are young brothers, up and coming, doing their thing. And don't forget, Vlad one time was in this situation. All right? The Breakfast Club one time was in this situation where they just started out. And these guys, what episode is this?
45.
This is the episode 45. Let's make sure they one day reach 2,000, if not more. That's a lot of years, but we wish you guys the best on this, all right?
Yes, and thank you. Can we give him a round of applause?
Yeah,
thank you for
put the love in. They right on time. Look, they got the time here. I love it. Listen, everybody, I want to thank all my fans. I appreciate you. All my loved ones. It's the one and only. Yo, come around. Let them come.
Let them see. Let them see the less attractive side.
We're going to come give y'all a hug and a kiss on the cheek.
Say hello to everybody so you can see who's talking. All right? This is Andrew.
Look, they getting off now.
Not Jay-Z Guru. This Guru in Virginia Beach. All right? These the guys, all right? Everybody, thank y'all so much, and we out of here. Peace.
And thank y'all again. Continue to like and subscribe. And we'll see you guys next time.
Jay with the jokes, funny guy. Drew with the blah blah, telling crazy stories for a lifetime. Kemp got the wisdom for him, like nothing's ever that serious. And if you don't listen, then you're delirious. Bro, you can't say that. Why not? Because we're live. I just said nothing's ever that serious.